Time travel. The very phrase ignites our imagination. It whispers of possibilities beyond our grasp. It makes us question the boundaries of our existence. What if we could journey through time? What if we could witness historical events firsthand or glimpse into the future? The human mind is captivated by the unknown, and time travel remains one of the greatest mysteries we yearn to unravel. Stories of time travel have enthralled us for centuries. From H.G. Wells' The Time Machine to the countless science fiction books and films that followed, we are drawn to the idea of manipulating time. Perhaps it's the desire to alter the past or the yearning to know what the future holds. Whatever the reason, the allure of time travel remains a powerful force in our collective psyche. The concept of time travel challenges our understanding of reality. It forces us to confront the limits of our knowledge and the very nature of time itself. Is time linear as we perceive it, or is it a more fluid concept capable of being bent and manipulated? These questions have captivated scientists and philosophers for generations, and they continue to fuel our fascination with the possibility of time travel. In the bustling heart of New York City, amidst the flashing neon lights and roaring traffic of Times Square in 1950, a man named Rudolph Fentz would become forever entwined with the enigma of time travel. His story, passed down through the annals of unexplained phenomena, continues to spark debate and intrigue. It was a humid June evening when Rudolph Fentz materialized, seemingly out of thin air, in the middle of Times Square. He was immediately noticeable, not for any outlandish behavior, but for his attire. Fentz was dressed in the height of 19th century fashion, a stark contrast to the contemporary styles of the 1950s. His clothing, meticulously preserved, seemed to belong in a history book rather than the bustling streets of New York. Witnesses described his confused and disoriented demeanor. He seemed bewildered by his surroundings, his eyes wide with a mixture of fear and awe as he looked upon the unfamiliar cityscape. Before anyone could approach him or inquire about his disoriented state, Fentz was struck by a speeding taxi, his life tragically cut short in the very moment he seemed to have stepped out of time. The circumstances surrounding Rudolph Fentz's death were baffling enough, but the contents of his pockets deepened the mystery. Police officers investigating the accident discovered a curious assortment of items, each seemingly out of place in the 20th century. Among his possessions were a copper token for a beer costing 5 cents, bearing the name of a saloon unknown to anyone in the area, a bill for the care of a horse and the washing of a carriage issued by a livery stable on Lexington Avenue that had been out of business for over 50 years, an envelope addressed to Rudolph Fentz bearing a postmark from 1876, and a small, intricately crafted pocket watch of a make that predated the 20th century. The investigation into Rudolph Fentz's identity led authorities to a missing person case from 1876. A man named Rudolph Fentz Jr., a resident of New York City, had vanished without a trace at the age of 29. He had last been seen stepping out for his customary evening walk, never to return. His family, despite a thorough search by the police, could find no trace of him. The case eventually went cold, leaving behind a grieving family and an unsolved mystery. The similarities between the missing person case from 1876 and the man who died in Times Square in 1950 were too striking to ignore. Could this be the same Rudolph Fentz, transported across time to a future he couldn't comprehend? The evidence, while circumstantial, was compelling. The items found in his pockets, the matching names, and the unexplained disappearance all hinted at a connection that defied logical explanation. The story of Rudolph Fentz continues to fascinate and perplex, its details passed down through the years, often embellished with each retelling. Was he a genuine time traveler, ripped from his own time and thrust into a future he couldn't comprehend? Or was his story an elaborate hoax, a fabrication woven from rumor and speculation? Skeptics point to the lack of concrete evidence and the inconsistencies that inevitably arise in such tales. They argue that the story is likely a product of urban legend, a tale spun to capture the imagination and fuel our fascination with the unknown. The lack of official documentation and the reliance on anecdotal accounts make it difficult to separate fact from fiction. Yet the story of Rudolph Fentz endures, its appeal lying in the questions it raises about the nature of time, reality, and the limits of human understanding. It serves as a reminder that there are still mysteries in our world that defy easy explanation, phenomena that challenge our perceptions and make us question the very fabric of our existence. Whether a true account of time travel or an imaginative fabrication, the story of Rudolph Fentz continues to resonate with our innate human curiosity, reminding us that some enigmas may never be fully solved, their mysteries left to linger in the realm of speculation and wonder.